If a man is playing with you, he's not going to tell you outright. He'll show it through his actions, small signs that you might not even notice at first, but once you do, you'll realize he was never serious about you to begin with. Today, I'm breaking down the 8 psychological red flags that prove he's just playing games. And trust me, if he's doing even one of these, it's time to walk away. Let's get into it. Point number 1. He's hot and cold, and it's not an accident. One of the biggest red flags that a guy is just playing with you is when he constantly switches between being super interested and completely distant. One day he's texting you all day, giving you compliments, making plans, maybe even talking about the future. And the next, he's nowhere to be found. Suddenly, he's busy, taking hours or even days to respond, acting like he doesn't care. Here's the thing, this is not random. This isn't just he's going through a rough time or he's bad at texting. This is intentional. It's a manipulation tactic designed to get you hooked. When he gives you attention and makes you feel special, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical that makes gambling and social media so addictive. And then, when he suddenly withdraws that attention, well, it creates anxiety and makes you crave his validation even more. You start thinking, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? Maybe he's just busy. And now, instead of asking yourself whether this guy is even worth your time, you're chasing after him. That's exactly what he wants. The harsh truth? A man who genuinely likes you will not put you through this emotional roller coaster. He won't play these games where he showers you with affection just to pull away and make you work for it. If a guy is hot and cold, it's because he wants you hooked but doesn't actually want to commit to you. He's keeping you around for attention, validation, or as an option, but not because he sees you as his priority. So what do? Well, stop playing along. Instead of chasing after him when he pulls away, mirror his energy. If he's inconsistent, you become unavailable. If he stops texting, you stop texting. Don't reward bad behavior with more effort. The moment you start treating him like an afterthought, he'll either step up or he disappears. And either way, you win. Point number 2. He avoids defining the relationship, but still acts like you're exclusive. You've been seeing each other for a while. He treats you like his girlfriend in private. He's affectionate, he makes plans, maybe even talks about the future in a vague way. But the moment you bring up, "What are we?" or try to get clarity, he dodges the question. He'll say things like, "I don't like labels. Let's just go with the flow." Or, "Why do we have to put a title on it?" Perhaps, "I really like you, but I'm not just ready for a relationship yet." All of these are just excuses. What he's really saying is, I don't want to commit to you, but I also don't want you to leave. And the worst part, he still acts like you're his girlfriend. He doesn't want you dating other guys. He gets jealous if you bring up other men, and he makes you feel like there's something special between you. But when it comes to actually claiming you in public, introducing you as his girlfriend, or making things official, well, suddenly he's not ready. Here's what's really happening. He wants all the benefits of a relationship, but none of the responsibility. He wants the emotional support, the affection, the intimacy, but he doesn't want to be tied down. He wants the freedom to do whatever he wants while keeping you emotionally invested in him. And let me be real with you. If a man wants you, he will make it known. You will never have to question it. You won't have to initiate the "what are we" talk because, well, he'll bring it up first. He'll want to claim you, introduce you to his friends, and make it clear that you're his. If he's keeping things in the gray area and avoiding commitment, he's doing it for a reason. And that reason is not he needs more time. It's that he doesn't see you as his long-term future. So what do? Stop acting like his girlfriend if he refuses to treat you like one. If he won't define the relationship, stop giving him relationship benefits. Don't be available 24/7. Don't invest your emotions into a situationship, and don't let him string you along while he keeps his options open. If he won't commit, then he doesn't get access to you like that. Point 3. His actions and words don't match. Pay close attention to this one because this is how a man exposes himself without realizing it. A guy who is just playing with you will say all the right things. He'll tell you he cares about you, that you're different from the other girls, that he sees a future with you. He'll say he misses you, that he wants to see you, that he's serious about you. But when it comes to actually proving it, Well, his actions don't match his words. He says he wants to see you, but never makes plans. He says he misses you, but he goes days without texting. He says he wants something real, but he keeps you in a situationship. He says you're important to him, but he makes you feel like an afterthought. Why? Because it's easier to say something than to actually do it. Words are cheap. It takes zero effort to send a text saying, "I really like you." But it takes real investment and intention to show up, prioritize you, and make things happen. And here's the key. A man's words should never mean more than his actions. If his actions don't align with what he's telling you, trust his actions every single time. Because a man who's serious about you will back up his words with effort. He won't just tell you he wants to see you, he'll plan the date. He won't just say he misses you, he'll make time to call. He won't just say you're special, he'll treat you like you are. So if you keep feeling confused, if you keep wondering why does he say all these things but act so differently, well, it's because he's keeping you emotionally invested without actually committing anything real. What do? Hold him accountable. Stop believing words that don't have actions behind them. Instead of reacting to what he says, judge him based on what he does. And if a guy consistently tells you one thing but shows you another, that's your answer. He's not serious. He's just playing with you. Point 4. He only gives you attention when it's convenient for him. A man who's genuinely interested in you will make time for you. He won't just pop in and out of your life when it suits him. But a guy who's just playing with you, he treats you like an option, not a priority. At first, he might text you consistently, act interested, and put in effort, but as time goes on, you start to notice a pattern. He only reaches out when it's convenient for him. Maybe it's late at night when he's bored or something didn't work out with another girl. He's not consistent, but he's just consistent enough to keep you around. Here's what that looks like. He disappears for days, then suddenly sends a "Hey, how's your day?" text like nothing happened. He only makes last-minute plans but never actually schedules a date in advance. He only wants to see you when it's on his terms, when he has free time, when he's in the mood, or when he needs something from you. This is a clear sign that you are not a priority in his life. You're just an option that he keeps on standby. He doesn't think about what you need or how you feel, or whether you're getting the consistency and respect you deserve. He only thinks about himself. A guy who genuinely cares about you will make an effort consistently, not just when it's convenient for him. He won't disappear for days or only text you when he's bored. He'll check in regularly, plan ahead, and make sure you know that he values you. So, what should you do if you notice this pattern? Well, stop rewarding inconsistency with attention. If he disappears for days and then texts like nothing happened, don't entertain it. If he only wants to see you last minute, stop making yourself available. When you stop giving your time and energy to a man who doesn't prioritize you, one of two things will happen. 1. He'll realize he needs to step up and actually start making you a priority. 2. He'll disappear for good, which is exactly what you want if he was just playing games. Either way, you win. Point 5. He keeps you a secret. This is a big one. A man who is serious about you will want to introduce you to people who matter in his life, his friends, his family, his social circles. He'll want to show you off, not hide you. But a guy who's just playing with you, he keeps you separate from the rest of his life. Here's what that looks like. He never introduces you to his friends. He avoids taking you to places where he might run into people he knows. You've been seeing him for months, but you know absolutely nothing about his family. The only time you hang out is in private, at his place or yours, but never in public settings. Why does he do this? Because he doesn't want people to know about you. There are a few possible reasons for this. 1. He's seeing other women and doesn't want to risk them finding out. 2. He doesn't see you as long-term and doesn't want to integrate you into his real life. And 3. He enjoys having you in his life, but only on his terms, without accountability or commitment. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Maybe he's just a private person, and while that might be true in some cases, there's a difference between being private and being secretive. A man who genuinely values you might not post you on social media every day, but he won't actively hide you. He won't make you feel like he's ashamed to be seen with you. So, how do you handle this? Well, call it out. If you've been seeing him for a while and he still hasn't introduced you to his friends or taken you out in public, ask why. If he dodges the question, makes excuses, or tries to gaslight you into thinking you're overreacting, that's your answer. He's hiding you for a reason. And if that's the case, walk away. Because a man who truly values you won't treat you like a secret. He'll treat you like someone he's proud to have by his side. Point number 6. He never invests emotionally, but expects you to. One of the clearest signs that a guy is just playing with you is that the emotional investment is completely one-sided. You find yourself putting in all the effort. You initiate conversations, you check in on him, you try to understand how he feels. But when it comes to him, well, he never opens up, never shares anything real, and never puts in the same level of effort. What does this look like? You ask about his day, but he never asks about yours. He doesn't remember important details about you. You bring up your feelings and he either shuts down or changes the subject. He avoids deep conversations, especially about your relationship. Or he expects you to be emotionally available for him, but never reciprocates. This is because he doesn't actually want a deep emotional connection. He just wants the benefits of your emotional investment. Let me explain. When a woman is emotionally invested in a man, she naturally puts in more effort, is more forgiving, and is more willing to overlook red flags. A man who is just playing games knows this, and he will take advantage of it. He will enjoy the attention, the support, the validation, but he won't give you the same effort in return. A guy who actually cares about you will want to be emotionally open with you. He won't just keep things on the surface or avoid real conversations. He will be willing to listen, to support you, and make sure you feel secure in the relationship. So if you notice that you're the only one investing emotionally, take a step back. Stop initiating deep conversations. Stop over-investing in someone who isn't matching your effort. And most importantly, don't settle for a one-sided connection. Because the right man for you will not make you feel like you're in this alone. He'll show up emotionally just as much as you do. Point number 7. He never apologizes or takes accountability. One of the clearest signs that a man is just playing with you is that he refuses to take responsibility for his actions. Ever. If you bring up something that he did that hurt you or made you uncomfortable, instead of listening and acknowledging it, he flips it on you. Here's what that looks like. He downplays your feelings. You're overreacting. He deflects. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? He gaslights you. That never happened. You're remembering it wrong. He shifts the blame. Well, I wouldn't have done that if you didn't do this first. He gives you a non-apology. I'm sorry you feel that way, which isn't actually an apology. This is a huge psychological red flag because it shows you that he doesn't respect you enough to own up to his mistakes. Instead, he'd rather make you feel like you're the problem. So you start questioning yourself instead of questioning him. And the worst part? The longer you tolerate it, the more he gets away with it. Over time, you start thinking, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I should just let it go. But deep down, you know something feels off. Here's the reality. A good man will not make you feel crazy for expressing your feelings. He won't be perfect. But when he messes up, he'll take responsibility. He'll listen to you, validate your feelings, and actually make an effort to change his behavior. But a guy who refuses to apologize, who always finds a way to make it your fault, well, that's someone who is not emotionally mature enough to be in a real relationship. So what do? Well, stop engaging in the argument. Stop explaining yourself. Stop justifying your emotions. The next time he refuses to take accountability, simply say, I'm not arguing about this. I need a man who can own up to his mistakes, and clearly that's not you. And then walk away. If he values you, he'll realize he needs to change. If he doesn't, he'll move on, and you'll have just dodged a lifetime of emotional exhaustion. Point number 8. He talks about the future, but never takes action. This one is subtle, but it is one of the biggest red flags that a guy is stringing you along. He'll talk about the future just enough to keep you hooked, but when it comes to actually taking steps toward that future, nothing ever happens. Here's what that looks like. He says things like, one day, I'll take you on a trip, but never actually plans it. He talks about moving in together eventually, but he's never serious about making that happen. He mentions marriage and kids someday, but avoids real conversations about commitment. He keeps saying, "We should do this," but when you try to make plans, he suddenly gets busy. This is a psychological trick designed to keep you emotionally invested without actually giving you what you want. Because as long as he talks about the future, you'll feel like progress is being made, even when nothing is actually changing. This is how he keeps you waiting, hoping, and believing that one day things will get better. But the truth, if a man truly sees a future with you, he will take steps towards it. Because a man who is serious about you won't just talk, he'll prove it through actions. So, how do you handle this? Simple. Start paying attention to patterns, not promises. If he's been saying the same things for months or even years, and nothing has changed, call it out. You keep saying we should do whatever it is, but it never actually happens. I need a man who follows through on what he says, so either we start making real plans or I stop believing what you say. And then watch what happens next. If he gets defensive, makes excuses, or tries to flip it on you, then you know he was never serious about you. But if he truly values you, he'll step up, because when a man truly wants you in his life long term, he won't just say it, he'll show it. At the end of the day, a real man will never leave you confused. He won't make you question your worth, he won't play games, and he won't keep you stuck in a cycle of mixed signals. So if you recognize these red flags in your situation, don't ignore them. Don't make excuses for him. Don't waste time hoping he'll change, because he won't. Instead, put your energy into someone who actually deserves it. And if that means walking away, then walk away, because the right man will never make you feel like an option. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe for more real talk, and drop a comment below if you've ever dealt with a guy like this. I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one.